One easy way to supercharge the performance of your coding agent like Claude Code or Cursor is to give it access to a knowledge graph. And one of my favorite applications in this domain is called Graffiti. Let me show you how it works. So Graffiti is an open source framework for building temporally aware knowledge graphs. Now, unlike traditional knowledge graphs that build a graph or a network from your data, what Graffiti does, it's able to do that. So it can build a name entity relationship between all the information within your graph, but also it keeps that graph dynamic, which means that it gets updated based on new information provided by the user or other sources. In addition, it's a temporally aware knowledge graph, which means that relationships that exist between nodes will have a time component, which makes sense because a lot of information gets updated over time. So if you have two nodes that are talking to one another and there's a relationship between them and that relationship changes over time, Graffiti is able to represent that. So let's take a look at an example. Here we have Kendra saying at some time, "I love Adidas shoes." And we can create a graph out of this information by understanding that there is an entity called Kendra and there are entities like Adidas shoes. And we know that Kendra is the individual who loves Adidas shoes. So we can create two nodes, one being Kendra and the other one being Adidas shoes, and the relationship between them is loves. Now, this information is valid at a given time. What happens if, for example, Kendra says my Adidas shoes broke, but Puma are lit? So now this piece of information needs to update the graph that we had previously. So we can go and take a look at the graph that we had and we can say the relationship between Kendra and Adidas shoes being loved is no longer valid because the shoes broke. And there are new pieces of information about other entities like Puma shoes that need to be updated. So now here in this new graph, we have Kendra who likes Puma shoes, used to love Adidas shoes, but now it's broken. So this is an example of having a temporal relationship between different nodes within the graph and the graph being dynamic, meaning that it gets updated over time based on new pieces of information. This is especially important in conversational agents where information is flowing and dynamically changing, in addition to code bases where, of course, as expected, new code is being added, the logic is being updated. Give this library a try and let me know what you think.